Hello, I'm Rex Childhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date reference, today is January 7th, 2022. It's a Friday if you want to know, and I'm in Southern California, and we have three Garmin GPSs for our car. We've bought newer ones over the years, and the one that we're currently using in our primary vehicle is a Garmin Nuvi, Nuvi. It's with the camera and all the other stuff. And it's got some defaults that we've set up. We want to use the HOV lanes. We want to go either the shortest or the fastest route. I don't know which. I dispute both of those choices. And I do like some of the features on it, but the database is wrong. And I contacted Garmin several times, and I've given up. A couple of years ago, I just gave up because nothing seems to happen. And Garmin responded a couple of times that their database actually comes from somebody like Navtech or something, whatever. They said you have to contact somebody else if there's a problem in the database. So I did, sent off all my stuff to those guys, and got no response. This is from the Garmin homepage today. I downloaded it straight from them. This is quoting their homepage. Our reliable, full-featured car GPS navigators take the doubt out of driving. As you make your daily commute or embark on a highway adventure, our navigators are here to help. They can even provide driver alerts to help increase awareness. Find what you need and get where you're going with our dedicated GPS devices for your car. I'm going to show you a hilarious video that we've been watching for a fair amount of time now. And as I said, letting Garmin know that there's an error in their database does no good. If I were to give you my home address and you plug it into Garmin, it's not going to get you. We just bought a 2022 Subaru. It's not yet delivered. It's coming with TomTom GPS. It's going to be curious as to how that handles it. But when people come to our address, and I give them two different addresses. I give them the one that Garmin thinks we live at, which doesn't exist, and I give them the real address. And most people get here because they get close. So let's take a look at some of the fun I've had with Garmin. This is my street corner. It's Neighborly Lane at Neighborly Lane and Shandy and Neighborly Lane. It's kind of an interesting intersection. 4 streets coming off of a central point. 3 of them are named Neighborly Lane. One of them is named Shandy, and I'm going to show you a map here in a minute. The United States Postal Service delivers mail to our house, directly to our house, packages and mail and whatever else. So the United States government recognizes where we live. UPS, FedEx, Amazon, OnTrack, every delivery service we know of knows where we live. Garmin GPS does not. Let's take a look at the next interesting clip here. I took a screenshot of MapQuest searching for my area of Southern California, and it shows Neighborly Lane, Shandy Lane, and Neighborly Lane correctly. This is from Google Maps, and the section in blue is Neighborly Lane, what we saw on MapQuest map. On this map, it doesn't have a name, and that's in the blue rectangle. In the red rectangle is a section of road called Shandy Lane, which is actually a private driveway. So Google Maps doesn't know what it's doing. It really doesn't matter whether the GPS is set for quickest or shortest. We're coming down State Route 78, which is San Pasqual Valley Road, shown in yellow here. At one of the points that we come to, we can make a left turn onto Old Milky Way and then proceed up to San Pasqual Road, that's shown with the green line. The Garmin GPS wants us to stay on State Route 78, San Pasqual Valley Road, up to where I've got that circle in the red, and that is a traffic controlled light that is long light when you get stuck there. So when you cross past the intersection of Old Milky Way and San Pasqual Valley Road, about where those lines start on the bottom right hand side of the screen, GPS will say you're going to be at Disneyland at 9 o'clock. You take the red route, you get tied up by the traffic light. By the time you get clear of that traffic light, when you make your left-hand turn and you come back and you cross Old Milky Way, your GPS will be saying you're going to be at Disneyland at 9:03. You've lost 3 minutes. So instead of doing that, quickest or shortest, that's what's selected, doesn't really matter. As we come down 78 San Pasqual Valley Road, we make our left-hand turn onto Old Milky Way, and we proceed across the Old Milky Way. At the end of that, it's a stop sign. You may have to wait 1 or 2, maybe 3 cars to make your left turn, and then you get onto San Pasqual Road, and you proceed along with your way on your way. And when you make that left-hand turn, the Garmin GPS will update and say you're going to be at Disneyland at 8:57. Shortest or quickest? I disagree. Okay, let's move on to the next portion of this. And when we get on Bear Valley Parkway, which is going to be part of the video, what the Garmin GPS wants us to do is follow that red line. Now it's set for HOV. Quickest or shortest doesn't really matter. It's set for HOV, and that orange splotch, the 2 orange splotches or 3 orange splotches, they're all traffic lights. So the Garmin GPS wants us to follow the red line, go through the first traffic light, which is another really ridiculously long traffic light, and then go to the second traffic light where we make the left-hand turn to get onto the I-15, which is a metered ramp, which is another delay. So let's say that you cross, you hit that first light with Disneyland being at 9 o'clock. By the time you get on the I-15, your GPS is going to be reading you're going to be at Disneyland at 9:03, 9:04, 9:05. You've lost 3, 4, 5 minutes. The GPS is set to use HOV. So what we do is we turn right on Beethoven. We go to that splotch light following the blue line, which is another right-hand turn. There's virtually no traffic. We use the HOV ramp to get onto the I-15, and as we go down the HOV ramp to the I-15, our GPS will update and say we're going to be at Disneyland at 8:56, 8:57. We've saved 3, 4, 5 minutes right off the bat, and because of the delays going the other way, we've actually saved probably 7 to 10. But let's look at the video because that's interesting. Before we get into the hilarious, even more hilarious portion of the Garmin GPS that we're operating with, which is recurringly updated, we need to understand where the Interstate 57, I-57 goes from. It goes from Chicago down to Missouri, and that's it. And I have not been on the I-57 in probably maybe 3 years. I was back in Chicago before the pandemic. So, and this is January 7th, 2022. I haven't been back in Chicago for maybe 3 years, 4 years. And I-57 goes from Chicago down to Missouri, pretty much a straight line as Wikipedia is showing here, and I want to give them credit for that. I used to drive I-57 a lot. The next road we need to understand is I-15. This is one of our major thoroughfares here in San Diego County, and it's what we run up to towards Disneyland. We take the I-15 to the State Route 78, State Route 78 to I-5, I-5 into Anaheim to get to Disneyland. So at North County Mall, Bear Valley Parkway, we get on the I-15 Beethoven. We get on the I-15 and we go north for, maybe 3, 4, 5 miles. Not very far to go over to the coastal routes. Okay, now it says, and I'm using roadtrippers.here. That's who I copied this from. It says the I-15 goes from San Diego all the way to Alberta, Canada. Looking at the map, it goes absolutely nowhere near Illinois or Missouri. And I apologize for the shaky video here. My wife is in the right seat. We're driving in early morning traffic. It's about 6:30 in the morning. And we are headed to Disneyland from Ramona. We're turning on Bear Valley Parkway. You'll see that in the video. We're going to go down Bear Valley Bear Valley Parkway. GPS wants us to go on to the normal ramp to get to 15 North. We're going to make a right turn on Beethoven. And the GPS says continue to I-57. I-57 goes from Chicago into Missouri. It's 1,700 miles away, but we're going to go really fast. And then we come up and it keeps saying turn on to I-57, turn right on to I-57. Really cool. And if you look at the screen, if you can read screen, sorry it's so shaky, if you look at the screen, it'll show that the command is make a right turn on I-57, but the road that's the target is the I-15, and this is a Garmin database. And so just because you have a GPS doesn't mean you actually know where you're at. So to wrap up this video, the major points of this video, the database used by Garmin is wrong. It doesn't matter where they get it from. It doesn't matter who's responsible for it. Whoever controls it is not receptive to corrections. I've given them numerous corrections. I gave up. I just gave up. I quit. The Garmin, it doesn't matter whether you set shortest or quickest route or HOV lanes. It seems to decide it's going to go someplace else. One of the fun things we found was when we want to find a new location. We're driving down the road and we want to find a restaurant. So, hey, voice command, find In-N-Out Burger. Sorry, this command's not available in your language. Our Garmin GPS, which is pretty darn good on voice commands, will not accept a voice command to find a location that's not in our saved points using the English language. I no longer speak any other languages. Okay, I've flown Garmin GPS systems. I wrote Garmin GPS training manuals for another company, one of my employers along the way. Really liked them. I generally like Garmin GPS systems. But this process, what we're going through here, is absolutely annoying. The Subaru is going to have a TomTom GPS, not by our choice, by theirs. They're the ones who put it in. And this just goes to prove, just because you have a GPS does not mean you're going to get to where you want to go. And this is kind of fun. You can't find my house in a Garmin GPS. I can give you my address. You can't find my house. There's a safety tip along here too that I'm going to include. This is the safety tip. When you take your GPS system, don't make your actual home in your GPS. Put it a mile or so away from your home. You know how to get there from, say, a 7-Eleven, AM, PM, McDonald's, some other point that's, say, a mile away from your house. We've had this happen to two acquaintances of ours. Their cars were both broken into at sporting events, and it appeared to be very early in the sporting event. The people stole their GPS and their garage door openers, drove to the home address on the GPS, following the GPS, hit the garage door opener as they pulled up in the driveway, rode right into the garage, closed the garage door. Nobody saw them. They went in, they rifled the house, took all the valuables, and then opened the garage door, drove away. Now, it just turns out that stupid criminals, both parties, because there are multiple parties, were stupid enough to leave the GPS and the garage door opener behind with fingerprints. If you're going to give it to, if you're actually going to record your home in there, make it somebody else's name, so that if you give your GPS to a visitor, like we occasionally do to ours, tell them, hey, if you want to come home to the house, search for Alice in Saved, and that's our home. If you use home, you're going to go to fast food restaurant, a store, whatever, that's a little while away. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm having fun with the Garmin system. I like Garmin. I'm just annoyed by the fact that you can't fix it, and you can't get it to fix, and it doesn't follow what it's told to do. Thanks for watching.